What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 304 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room. Now, if you are new, if you're catching us for the first time on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Twitch, we've been doing this for almost 5 years now. This all started March 14th of 2020, and we rode out the pandemic 80 nights in a row. And when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show where we get together to talk about music and talk about our lives and be like a giant online virtual support group for the craziness that we're all going through right now. And if you're wondering, the War Room is in fact a place in my house where the bar is. And it's also where all of my military memorabilia is, stuff that I've brought back from my trips overseas, and also where I keep all of my family's military stuff as well. So thank you very much for hanging out with us in the War Room tonight. The War Room OG family, as they have dubbed themselves, would like to welcome you if you are new. So you got to let us know in the comments if you're joining us for the first time in the War Room, and let us know where you're watching from. And I can tell you that your comments show up here. So if you're joining me on Instagram, like Film Rooster, what's going on, TR? Watching on Instagram, Sherry is watching on Facebook. Let's see, Josh is here, Bish is here, Shane and Melissa. You are so new, TR, Mojave Desert Phone Booth, OG. Marcy and Sherry joining us on Facebook as well. So thank you guys for joining me here in the War Room. And if you are new, well, there is a couple of co-hosts that are here with me. That is Friday, the newest member of the family, and she is wrestling with Wednesday, who is obviously my original co-host. That's where you can find her on Instagram, by the way. So they are the peanut butter and jelly to my fluff, I guess, at this point. So I set up the pug cam so that you can watch all of the pug cuteness while we're sitting here in the War Room. Congrats on the retirement to the Sergeant Mage on Instagram. Yeah, I actually wanted to tell you guys all about the retirement ceremony that I went to last week. That's why we didn't meet here in the War Room last week, because I was in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune. My husband, as you guys are very well aware, Mr. C, as we have dubbed him, just retired after 28 years in the Marine Corps. And they had a massive ceremony for him. There was like 150 or 200 people that flew in from all around the country. One guy actually that he went to boot camp with 28 years ago. And so I wanted to show you the pictures that I am allowed to show you because of where the ceremony was. I'm not allowed to post a lot of the pictures, but I did want to show you. So there he is right after the retirement ceremony. This is one of the formations that was at the ceremony. And that is Mr. C handing over the sword, the Sergeant Major sword, for the final time to the commander. And then, just in full Marine fashion, one of the bars we ended up at, that was the sign on the bathroom door. I had to take a picture of it to show you guys because it was just ridiculous. If it's too small and you can't read it, it says, if you need to shit, hold on, let me make it bigger for you so that you can see it. Pretend you're, misspelled, a bear and go to the woods. I had to take a picture of it. I was like, only around a Marine base are you going to see that sign on the bathroom door. So Jonathan says, congratulations. Just checking in to say hi. We'll try to hit you up next week. Big early day tomorrow. All right, TR, we got to catch up soon. Donna says, congratulations. Joshua says, congratulations. Dan on Instagram says, that is amazing. Will Mr. C be in Mass now? Bish, because of the kids, there's going to be a lot of traveling back and forth until the kids are out of school. But yeah, he's going to be spending a lot more time up here. So he'll definitely be around a lot more. So Alexis says, congratulations and thank you for your service. Tracy says, congratulations. Melissa says, congratulations, retired Sergeant Major Mr. C. That's a lot of words. He's got a very long title. Jessica says, hey, Mistress Carrie, sorry I am so late. Jason on Facebook says, howdy, Miss Wednesday and Miss Friday. Yeah, they are still here wrestling as they do most days. Friday has a thing about biting Wednesday's cheeks, which she likes to do a lot of. So, here you go. There you go. There you go. Can you guys behave? Are you guys going to just like chill? Nope, there's no chilling. Friday's just going for the face. Just for the face. So I wanted to show you guys some of the pictures. It was a great ceremony. He was awarded one final medal, which I believe is the Legion of Merit that he was given during the ceremony. He was gifted a lot of amazing things, including the unit. Normally, they'll give a gift of like a plaque or like something, and everybody in the unit will chip in. And they actually had this custom bar table made out of a whiskey barrel. And the whiskey barrel opens, like there's a door on the barrel, and there's shelves in there so you can store booze in there. And then the tabletop is like a shadow box, and they put all of his metal rack in there and just a bunch of different stuff. And then it's all clear coated over. So what's funny about it is that the whiskey barrel is an actual used whiskey barrel. Like, I don't know who made the table, but when you open the empty barrel where the empty shelves are, it smells so strong that they delivered, the unit sent a truck to the house to drop the table off because we couldn't fit it in the car. And we put it in the garage, and we opened up the door. And when we went into the garage in the morning, it smelled like you just got into a bar fight in the garage. And I don't think that smell is going to come out of that barrel, because I have no idea how long whiskey was steeping in that oak barrel, but it smells so strong. But the table is really cool. And everybody was like, where are you guys going to put that? Where are you guys going to put that? And I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to make some room in the war room. So there may be some additions to the war room coming. But it was a really beautiful ceremony. It was crazy because everybody that flew in stayed at the same hotel. So there were people from all over the country, family, friends, guys he rides motorcycles with, guys that he served in the Marine Corps with, and everyone stayed at the same hotel. Luckily, the hotel was really understanding because we were partying in the parking lot till like 4 a.m. every day. So luckily, everybody was forgiving about that. And then I needed a few days to dry out when I got home. So, but it was just awesome. The ceremony was beautiful. During the ceremony, the commander presented me with a certificate, and the kids a certificate thanking us for, our service and sacrifice, that he's been gone so much. And then also at one point, some female Marines came out and gave me and my bonus daughter bouquets of flowers from my husband, which was really cool. So you can't see, but one of the Marines in this formation over here was standing during the formation with their knees locked and literally like noodled and passed out. It wasn't even that hot, but we were worried that he was going to get rain because there was like 400 people there, plus all of the guys in formation. And we were really, really worried that the weather was not going to be great, but it was like 69 degrees and partly cloudy, and it was just gorgeous. And the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, I didn't put those pictures up because of some of the people that are in the pictures that can't have their pictures up. But my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, wanted to do something special. So she went to the liquor store and bought a couple hundred nips in this giant box. And she was like, when the ceremony's over, I want everybody to toast him And she asked me, because we were like, okay, do you want to get up and say something or whatever? And she was like, no, just have Carrie do it. So when the formal ceremony was over, they went out to the car and brought these giant boxes of nips. And so I yelled to everybody to come over, and there were hundreds of people there in the middle of the compound. And we handed out like hundreds of liquor bottles at 11 o'clock in the morning, and everybody toasted my husband. And everybody was like, are you really passing out like liquor on the base right now in the middle of the day? And I'm like, what are they going to do? Fire him? He just retired. So that was hilarious. And I haven't done a shot. I reached in the box and just grabbed whatever. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I have not done a shot of Jaeger since Ozfest in like 2000 and freaking 3 or something. And I did a shot of Jaeger. It was a lot. Sure, it wasn't for the crayons. No, Bish, it wasn't. We need pics of said barrel. I will try to get you some pictures. The problem is there's a lot of personal information in the tabletop, which is why I didn't post pictures of it. There's some stuff on there, some numbers and stuff that we just didn't want to post up online. So don't mess with a Marine party. Exactly, Dan. Exactly. Huge hotel party, adult spring break. Louise, you have no idea. They also had like a bonfire pit that had like those fancy like crystals in it. It was like one of those fire pits that you just flip the switch, but it was huge. Like 25 people could sit around it. And we basically like rented out like 3/4 of this hotel. So as long as we weren't being total idiots, they just kind of let us do what we wanted. Shane says they call nips shooters down there. Oh, I know. Trust me. They were like, what do you call them? And I was like, those are nips. And my mother-in-law doesn't call them that either. And so I was like, just get sleeves rather than going and picking up 200 separate bottles. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, in Massachusetts, you just go and get sleeves and nips. Like, that's what we do. You go to the Packy, you get sleeves and nips. And everybody thought I was like speaking German. Like, it was just, they were like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm like, that's what we call it. You go get sleeves and nips at the Packy, and then you just have them with you. So it was hilarious to watch everybody do shots on base in the middle of the day. And they were just like, it's his retirement. We're just doing it. Eric says, fuck, I'm late. It's all good, Eric. Bish says, ma'am, those are not government issued. They have to be used to it. The hotels, I mean, we did the same thing for my friend's Marine retirement. Oh, I'm sure they are, but it was pretty epic anyway. So the party was great. Getting so many people, even my sister flew down. So we had a chance to really kind of hang out and spend some time together and get a break from the weather too, because it was like 65 or 70 degrees the whole time we were down there, where the week before his retirement, they got 5 inches of snow and it shut the base down. So it was kind of hilarious to watch. Like, we were walking around in shorts and t-shirts because it was 65 degrees and they were wearing jackets. And I was like, yeah, no, it was 15 degrees at home when I left Boston. So I have to tell you guys another story, actually. For anybody that is not an OG War Room family member, the early days of the War Room during the pandemic, we did a lot of drinking, and you guys asked me to tell you guys a lot of stories. And if you go to mistresscarrie.com, there in the blog, right on the front page in the War Room section, there's a link to the dictionary, with the dictionary, which is our glossary of terms, inside jokes, just to catch new people up with all of the things that for almost the last 5 years, they're all the inside jokes and references, and they're all spelled out there. And one of those terms you will see is the Cheez-It. Now, if you're an original War Room family member, you know the Cheez-It story about when I flew, a guy next to me on a plane years ago got drunk and was being obnoxious. And then he opened up his bag of Cheez-Its on the plane with gusto, and the Cheez-Its flew in my lap. And then he went for the Cheez-It, which is why I always say you never go for the Cheez-It, because nothing good is going to come from that. And that guy learned that lesson. So it seems that I just can't travel without having something weird happen. So I go to Logan to fly to my husband's retirement, and I get the car loaded up. I had family staying at the house, so I had to make sure they knew where everything was and to make sure they knew how to navigate the alarm system so I wasn't going to get panicked calls from the alarm company. So I get in the car and I'm driving and I'm on 93 South going through Boston to get to Logan. And a FedEx truck had, I guess, left the back door of the FedEx truck open, and they were on 93 South, like 2 miles from the Zakim Bridge, and all the packages flew out of the FedEx truck. So traffic's backed up. There's packages everywhere. If you didn't get a FedEx package a couple of weeks ago, it's probably because it's on 93. So traffic was backed up, and I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm going to cut it close to make my flight. So I get to Logan. The parking garage was full. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They're like, you have to go to the economy lot, which, by the way, the economy lot shouldn't be called the economy lot because they charge the same day rate to park as the lot that's right there at the terminals. So it's not really an economy lot. You should get a break on the parking if you got to take a shuttle bus to get to your car. I digress. So I finally get into the airport. I get through TSA, the whole thing. I make it in time for my flight. And I'm like, all right, I should probably like everybody else does, before you get on the plane, you go to the bathroom so you don't have to deal with the bathroom on the flight. So I'm in the bathroom. As you do, ladies, you sit down. That's what we do. And I hear this guy talking. And I'm like, okay, I'm a modern, no judgment kind of woman. So I'm like, and it's the stall next to me. So I'm like, I'm just going to look under the stall and see what's going on. Because the person's talking. So you can tell they're on the phone. But they're peeing loudly while I'm in my stall. So I look down under the stall wall. And the shoes are facing the wall as if they're standing up and peeing. And I'm like, all right, if that person's in really high, like big high heels or whatever, like I don't care, right? You guys know me well enough. I just don't give a shit. But it was like men's like shoes, like penny loafers or whatever. And I was like, what the hell? And those bathrooms at the airport are big. There's like 50 stalls in the Delta Gate. These bathrooms are huge and there's women everywhere. So it's like, you know that this is the ladies' room and this guy just doesn't seem to care. He's talking at a really loud volume on the phone while peeing, like the person on the other end can't hear the guy peeing. It's impossible, right? So now I'm just getting pissed because we've had enough debates over bathroom access and I'm just like, what the fuck, right? So I come out of my stall and I want to see this person. Right? I want to see what they look like. And it's just a guy that either didn't want to wait in line in the men's bathroom or whatever, but he's on the phone. And I felt like being a bitch. So I knew he was on the phone. I'm standing there. There's all of these other women that are like washing their hands and putting makeup on that are looking at this guy like, are we okay? Like, what the hell is going on? And I was in a mood. The parking lot was full. The FedEx truck backed up traffic. And I just looked at him and I go, hey, what the fuck? And the guy goes, I'm on the phone. And I go, I don't give a fuck if you're on the phone with your boss. What the fuck are you doing in here? Get out of here before I beat your ass. And these ladies were in the bathroom like, oh shit. Sometimes I've been told I'm scary. I don't know if it's the hair. I don't know if it's the makeup. I don't know if it's the mouth. But I have been told by bosses, by friends, by family members that when I get angry, I can be quite scary. And so this guy like just looked at me and I was like, of course he was on my flight. Of course he was on my flight. So he was in one of the groups before me getting on the plane. And the people that he was flying with, I believe, were female coworkers because they didn't look like family. They were all kind of dressed in like business casual wear getting on the plane, right? And so as I'm getting on the plane, he was sitting in one of the forward rows, not like in first class, but like I was in a row behind him somewhere. And as I'm walking on the plane, he sees me and I go, hey, do me a favor. Don't follow me in the bathroom this time. And then I went and sat down on the plane. So I don't know what it is about me traveling. I couldn't wait to tell you guys. Sherry says, Walter, where are my pants? You kicked in the nuts. I did not kick him in the nuts, Lou. There was no physical contact, but I definitely was not going to not say anything because And you guys know I tread very lightly when it comes to political things. But there is this ridiculous paranoia about trans people in the United States going into bathrooms to like hurt women, when more often than not, it's a straight guy barge, and there's no security guard to keep those guys out of the bathroom. So like, if you're trying, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for women in general, but if you're trying to make me afraid of the boogeyman trans person in the bathroom, that argument doesn't work, because more likely than not, it's the guy in the penny loafers and the Dockers that's in the bathroom that doesn't belong there. And I think a lot of women don't want to make waves. They don't want to cause problems. They're just going to just kind of put up with it and like leave the bathroom or whatever. And with me, I was like, no, you know what? Fuck that. You're in a place where you're not supposed to be. It's obvious you don't belong in here. I'm going to make sure you fucking know it. And I'm going to embarrass you in front of the people you're with, because fuck you. So I couldn't wait to tell you guys that story. Marcy says, you go, girl. Denise says, that is awesome. I would have done the same thing. That is fucking great, says Joshua. It would have been funny if you did kick him in the nuts, Lou. That's how people get arrested at the airport, put on the no-fly list, like all of that. But had that guy like come back at me in a confrontational manner, I would have had no problem calling the state police or getting into a fist fight in the women's room with a fucking guy, because I wasn't going to be the one that got arrested. But I was just so aggravated because all we have heard for years is women not being safe in bathrooms and blah, 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 whatever. We need to protect women in the bathrooms. Really? Now, I don't know this guy's sexuality, but based on his haircut and the clothes that he was wearing, I don't think he was gay. So here's this straight guy, and he was big. He was like 6'2". When I looked under the stall and saw his shoes, I knew he was a big guy. And so the idea that like we're supposed to be afraid of someone that was born one gender that's now wearing a dress in the ladies' room, I hate to tell you guys, but if that's what you think, let me be the first to tell you that straight men go into women's rooms far more often, and that to me is far more dangerous. And yeah, Bish says, Walter, guard the stall. Betty says, that's why, that's what I love about you, mistress. You just lay it all out there. Well, look, I'm not getting into a political debate about it. All I can tell you, and I feel like it's my job when these things happen, is to share my story, because what I'm noticing in this political climate is that a lot of guys, especially if you're single or, you know, if you don't have daughters, if you work in a male-dominated industry, you might not have a lot of women that are willing to tell you how it is. And there are a lot of men right now talking about women and not listening when women talk about women. And so when that happened to me at the airport, I was like, how many times have we heard around the dinner table, on the news, comments on social media about we need to protect our daughters, we need to protect our wives, the women in our lives, the bathrooms aren't safe. There's a perfect example. It wasn't a drag queen in the bathroom. It wasn't a transgender person in the bathroom. It was this douchebag guy that for whatever reason decided he wanted to go into the women's room. And then it would have been one thing if he came out of the stall and realized it and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like if he just didn't even notice, he just walked into the bathroom, was on the phone, wasn't paying attention. If he had acted like that when I confronted him, I would have been like, no problem, dude. Just, it's all good. But he was like, I'm on the phone. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Do you not notice you're in the ladies' room? There's women everywhere. What are you talking about? Not only that, but we don't want you peeing on our seat. It's a ladies' room. So don't stand up and pee in our toilet in the ladies' room when you could just go to the men's room. Jen says, I was in a bathroom one time. I hear a voice say, is there any toilet paper over there? And it was a guy. Yeah, exactly. You were under caffeinated. That is dangerous. Oh no, I was caffeinated. I was drinking Red Bull in traffic on 93, waiting for the FedEx packages to get cleared out of the way. Trust me, I was caffeinated. Marcy says, TMI, sorry, remember our balls are on Topanga. Our penis is inverted. Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to share that story with you, one, because I thought you guys would think it was hilarious, but also two, especially for the guys that are here, like the next time you hear something about, keeping our wives and daughters safe in the bathroom, it's usually an asshole guy. Just a regular, run-of-the-mill guy that's in the bathroom that is making us uncomfortable and not someone else. So, Bish says, a guy at my gym today was kicked out for going into the women's bathroom. Alicia says, grown straight men in a bathroom where my daughter is will equal a verbal spanking. Yeah. And I think that a lot more women, I think it's all about where you are, right? Like I was in the middle of the Delta terminal at Logan Airport. I was not worried this guy was going to physically assault me. It's not like I was in a club bathroom where there was nobody around. I'm in the airport. So I felt pretty secure in myself that I could confront this guy. But there are a lot of women that don't feel safe confronting someone, especially someone that's of such large stature. And I don't know if any of the other women in the bathroom would have had my back. But if I had staggered out into that concourse at the airport and that guy had attacked me, I promise you, my buddies on the state police would have had my back. Never mind all of the drunk Bruins fans that were sitting at the bar right next to where the bathroom is. So just keep that in mind when people are debating things like bathrooms, because it's not the people that you're being told to be afraid of that are the ones that are making us uncomfortable. It's just not. Stacy says, wait, what? Penises are inverted? I think I missed something. Yeah, that's the joke, that like a uterus and ovaries are just an inverted penis and balls. You never heard anybody say that before? Come on. Let's see. Bish says, just in time, guys in chicks' bathrooms. Yep, there you go. Eric says, Carrie, I have no doubt you're a fighter. You're a barracuda. Sometimes my temper can maybe pick a fight it shouldn't pick. I felt confident picking a fight at the airport. The women's faces on the plane when I told the guy not to follow me in the bathroom, I would love to have tried to hear him explain what that reference was, especially because it looked like he was like on a business trip and the purple-haired girl tells the guy not to follow me into the bathroom. Like, I hope that made an uncomfortable business trip flight the rest of the day, because that guy deserved it. So Will says, preaching to the choir. I would have opened my mouth too. Verbal assault, most definitely, says Marcy. Yeah, I just think that ladies, you need to be more and more confident to speak for yourself, because I think there's way too many people that are willing to speak for us if you're not going to speak yourself. And I realize that here's the other thing, is that you can't police every bathroom. Like, there aren't enough cops on the planet to stand outside of every ladies' room to keep people from going in there. So ladies, you've got to speak up. And here's the other thing. Guys, there's an expectation on our end that if you see a guy walking in the ladies' bathroom, if you hear about it afterwards, if you're out with a bunch of guys and one of your buddies is joking about how he went into the women's room, if you're just, because I've heard that too. They're like, the line was too long, so I just went into the women's room. And then everybody laughs. And it's like, well, no, that's, like, if it's a group of guys, where's the girl dad in that group that's like, dude, you're lucky I wasn't there, because if you walked in the bathroom while my daughter was in the bathroom, I would have beat your ass. Like, I think there's a lot of women that are kind of waiting for men to kind of speak up on our behalf, because we get it, ladies. Like, we see this shit all the time. And we're just, don't tell us what to be afraid of. Tell those fucking asshole guys that you know that are doing it to knock it the fuck off. That's what we're asking for. Penny says, wait, what did I miss? MC kicking ass? You got to go back and watch it, Penny. I don't want to retell the story, but it was pretty hilarious. Lou says, most definitely not cool. Eric says, if I saw a guy go into the girls' room, I would stand by the door to tell nobody to go in there until he leaves. But Eric, here's the problem. There could be girls already in there. That's the problem, is that, I've seen videos online of like dads who don't want to bring their daughters into the men's room for obvious reasons. And they, their daughters are so young that they're afraid to send their young daughters into the ladies' room by themselves. And so, like, what are you supposed to do? Have a dad go into the ladies' room to make sure it's safe for his daughter? That's not great because the dad doesn't belong in the ladies' room, but what is he supposed to do? Unless there's a family bathroom, you're not going to take your daughter into the men's room. God only knows what she's going to see in there. So, it's just, I just wanted to tell you guys that story because I thought you'd get a kick out of it, because between the Cheez-It and the bathroom, like, I can't get away from anything. So, by the way, the dogs are completely asleep over here, by the way, on the other side of the pug cam, because why wouldn't they fall asleep on the wrong side of the couch? Exactly. Let's see. Bish says, imagine if Mr. C was around. Dude, let me tell you, if I had come out of that bathroom and my husband was standing there, because when we travel, I'll go, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and he'll go, all right, I'm going to go, I'll meet you right back here. Like, I know where my husband is waiting for me, like right outside the bathroom. Like, he's not the guy that's like, all right, I'll meet you at the gate. Like, he'll be like, I'll meet you right here. If I had come out of that bathroom yelling at that fucking guy and my husband were there, Mr. C would have been none too happy. That would have been a very uncomfortable flight for that gentleman, for sure. Irish Townie on Instagram says, love from Charlestown, Mistress Carrie. Right back at you, buddy. Producer Mike. Yeah, exactly. Producer Mike, poor bastard, had to fly with me all that time. All right, I want to remind you guys about some stuff. If you are new to the War Room and you're like, oh my God, Mistress Carrie's live on Instagram or live on Facebook, where the hell is she and what the hell is she doing? Well, you can hear me on a bunch of different places. Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3. You can download the free 98 Rock app, stream the station at my98rock.com. The big announcement this week on 98 Rock is that our show with Lizzie and Joe from Hailstorm, the Living Room Sessions tour that had to get rescheduled because of snow in Charleston, has been rescheduled for April 21st. Lizzie and Joe making up on the date that they had to postpone because there were a few inches of snow in the Carolinas and they couldn't get there. You can also hear me every weekday from 3 to 7 on Worcester's Rock Station, 100 FM The Pike. You can download the free Pike app. Go to pikefm.com. You can stream the station. Lots going on the Pike. There are just a lot of shows that are getting announced. We have 2 huge contests that launch on Monday that I'll tell you guys about later. You can also hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. Go to 1063thebone.com. Download the free Bone app. This week, before the tickets go on sale on Friday, you can win tickets to see Hardy on the Jim Bob World Tour at the Maine Savings Amphitheater in Bangor, Maine. So just go to 1063thebone.com and enter to win those tickets. They go on sale on Friday. And I wanted to let you guys know that there is a new station coming online. A brand new Mistress Carrie radio show is getting announced later this week. I can't tell you anything about it yet. The press release is going to go out later this week. The show starts later this week. I am super excited to tell you guys all about it. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you already know. But this time next week, we'll be able to talk all about it. But I did want to let you guys know that a big Mistress Carrie announcement is coming by the end of this week. What's up, Sean Curtis on Instagram? Yes, we have new news coming up. Big announcement coming later this week. So there you go. All right, events coming up that I want to let you guys know about. Another Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch is happening next month at City Winery Boston. If you haven't been to a grunge brunch, doors open at 11 at City Winery. There is day drinking. There is charcuterie. There is stuffed French toast. And there is also acoustic grunge music. This time around, it's going to be the Stone Temple Pilots unplugged set from the Stone Temple Posers. These tickets are already on sale. It's Saturday, March 22nd. The link to get tickets is on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And this got scheduled. It's not happening until the end of September, but my hometown of Leominster, Massachusetts is the birthplace of Johnny Appleseed. Every year they have the Johnny Appleseed Festival in downtown Leominster. Fingers crossed the weather is going to be nice because there's apple crisp and fried dough and apple cider. And this year there is going to be Mistress Carrie as well. So, yeah. Alicia says teaser. Rachel says woohoo. Bish says I was listening to you on the Pike during my run this afternoon. Jonathan says, all right, friends, I got to head off. Have a great week. See you guys next time. Jonathan, we'll talk about the big announcement next week when I see you again. Michael Cole says world domination, one station at a time. Jen wants to know if I sleep. I do. But I live and die by my schedule, and the calendar on my iPhone is like all color coded, and like between scheduling podcast episode interviews and the radio shows and recording commercials for radio stations and appearances and concerts and all of that stuff, I have to be super, super organized when it comes to my schedule. So yes, Jen, I do sleep, but it's because I block sleep time off on my calendar. So yeah. Let's see. What happened to Show Your MC? I haven't been going to a lot of shows, and I haven't been getting a lot of pictures from you guys with all of your gear on. So I just stopped doing it. That's why I haven't done it in a while, Brett. But if you got pictures, send them my way. Lou says vegetables and French toast, no charcuterie, like salted meats and stuffed French toast. It's delicious. Where are the dogs? Sean wants to know. They're over here. Like, they're sleeping on the side of the couch where the pug cam is not. Producer Mike, you were missed at the Super Bowl shindig. Hope you are on the mend. So over the weekend, now that I'm recovering from my trip to go see my husband retire, I woke up on Saturday morning. You guys can hear me still congested. I was in bed all weekend. I watched the Super Bowl in pajamas with pugs on my lap by myself because I felt like crap all weekend long. So producer Mike, I wanted to come and hang out with you guys. I was super bummed out that I literally did not get off the couch all weekend, and it totally sucked. Michael Cole says, hang upside down in a purple coffin. Bish says, Jelly Roll has a Facebook group called Losers Run Club for those that want to change their lives. I actually saw Jelly Roll launch that on social media, and I think it's really cool that he's encouraging people to get in shape together, people that may be too intimidated to try and go and get in shape in a traditional way because they feel like they're going to be judged. And here's Jelly Roll that was a size 6X t-shirt that's down over 120 pounds. And he's like, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I just think it's so cool. Yes, the dogs are sleeping beauties. Jessica says, Jelly Roll looks amazing. He does. Absolutely. Carol says, I've been coughing for 4 days. So I don't have a cough, but I have these sneezing fits, and then I can't stop blowing my nose for like an hour. It's just my nose. I have to put lotion on it because it's so chapped from me just blowing my nose all the time. It is driving me crazy. Let's see. Eric says, I love that Kendrick Lamar shit all over Drake during the halftime show. So I got to tell you, first of all, I've talked a lot about it, that I was really hoping that AC/DC was going to get the halftime show of the Super Bowl because you can't go to a football game without hearing AC/DC like 10 times. And obviously that they're playing the Power Up Tour, and these might be their last North American shows. I was hoping it was going to be AC/DC. I'm not like the biggest Drake fan. Not that I don't like hip hop music. I'm just not Drake, Kendrick Lamar. Like, I know his music. I know how big he is. He just won 4 Grammys last week. I always watch the halftime show because first of all, I know how much rehearsal time goes into it. And second of all, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the artists themselves pays the production cost of the Super Bowl halftime show. So when it's crazy production, like it could cost the artist out of pocket like millions of dollars to put that show on. Kendrick Lamar had, I think, 400 dancers on the field. They all got paid by Kendrick Lamar. That's the deal. The NFL says, we will give you this giant platform of more than 100 and whatever million viewers, but you have got to foot the bill for the halftime show. And so I always kind of watch it because I'm like, well, the artist has a vested interest in not wanting it to suck because they paid for it themselves. And so I watched it, and then I always will scroll through social media to see in real time what people's reactions were. And there were a lot of people that just did not get what was being said by the performance. So what I did was I sought out some videos because I'm not the expert of hip hop. I obviously am not an expert in Black culture, and I wanted to understand the nuances of the performance. And so I went and read a bunch of essays that people have posted online to try and explain to people that did not grow up experiencing the Black experience in the United States what all of the symbolism was in the performance. And I got to tell you, after I read those essays, I went back and rewatched the halftime show. And for a lot of people that just wrote it off and they were like, I didn't get it or whatever, there is not, and it wasn't just dissing Drake, there were a lot of cultural statements that were made. There were a lot of observations. There were a lot of things that were said with body position, and like Serena Williams crip walking, she got in trouble at Wimbledon for doing that. And so she did it at the Super Bowl. The fact that didn't she date Drake, which just makes it even funnier. But there were a lot of subtle little cultural references that if you're not African-American, you may not have picked up on. And I really wanted to understand what Kendrick Lamar was trying to say during the halftime show. He said a lot. He said a lot without saying it with words. And I look at the halftime show now a lot differently because of the things that he was trying to say and the way that he was trying to say it. And so that really opened my eyes. So I encourage you anytime, for whatever reason, to look past a tweet and do the deep dive. You know, I did some Googling and really I listened to some videos and listened to people that were like, no, he's making a statement about my community, about my culture, and about my experience in this country. And it was really powerful. I went back and watched it and it was really, really powerful. They get paid in viewership. More people buy the songs. And that's why Rihanna did that thing during hers where she held up makeup, because she's like, if I'm paying for this, I'm promoting Fenty. And why wouldn't she? There was a time where the halftime show was sponsored, but I think after the Janet Jackson debacle, Nipplegate, I think there were a lot of corporate sponsors that are afraid because they can't control the performer, that the performer is going to do something that's going to make the sponsor look bad. And so at some point in the Super Bowl, it was changed where the corporate sponsor doesn't underwrite the cost, that the actual artist carries the cost of the performance. And they 100% get paid in viewership, in streams, in merch sales. Kendrick Lamar and SZA are getting ready to go out on a tour. I guarantee you they sold more tickets after that Super Bowl halftime show. So yeah, exactly. Melissa says they need to put a QR code in the corner of the TV with what the hidden messages are for those of us that cannot read between the lines. Look, that's why I sought it out, because I was like, he's not just up there with all of these people with no thought behind, the idea that Samuel L. Jackson was Uncle Sam. I was like, okay, there's something there. And there was a lot there. So I encourage you to go and do some Googling and kind of open up your mind a little bit. You don't have to like the music, but I look at that Kendrick Lamar performance now as less of a hip hop concert and more of a piece of performance art, politically motivated, socially motivated performance art. And it was very different for me. It really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. Rachel, thank you for putting the Crip Walk definition. It has nothing to do with the gang, the Crips. And Serena Williams did it at Wimbledon and she got in trouble. And it's a cultural reference that has nothing to do with a gang reference. It just has the same name, but it was short for crippled because there was a guy, his name's Henry Crip Hurd, who was a double amputee. He was missing an arm and a leg, and he made that dance because he danced on one leg. And it is an African-American cultural reference that obviously, if you grew up a white girl in the suburbs of Boston, you might not have been aware of. And it came up in the Googling that I was doing because Serena Williams isn't just going to go up there for no reason. She is a vanguard. She is someone that has literally taken down years and years and years of being told she didn't belong in the tennis world. And she obviously fucking proved she did belong there. So there was no way she was going to go up on the world's biggest stage and do something without it meaning something. And so once I started looking into all of that, it really opened my eyes. There's a lot of people that were very hate-filled about the halftime show. And I just encourage you that, before you're like, oh, it sucked, to go and and educate yourself a little bit on what he was trying to say. And he said it in a respectful way. Like, he didn't go up there and try to piss people off. He was just trying to tell his experience. And I thought it was really cool. So I'm not the only one that is all sniffly here in the comments. I know, I apologize for being all sniffly. So because we didn't get together last week, we didn't have a chance to talk about my episode 2 weeks ago of the Mistress Carrie podcast with King Coyote. I told you guys when I started the podcast that I wanted to be able to keep you guys in touch with the artists that I know you guys grew up listening to, the artists that, have recorded the music, the soundtrack to your lives, but that I also wanted the opportunity from time to time to be able to introduce you guys to a new artist. And I really think that King Coyote is a genuine talent. He is a bluesy Americana singer-songwriter that just happens to be from Portland, Maine. He's got a fantastic voice. He writes great songs. I really hope you guys checked out this episode. And more importantly, I hope you checked out the corresponding playlist so that you could listen to some of the music that he's released, because he's really, really good. So if you haven't listened to it yet, local from Portland, Maine artist King Coyote, episode 243. And then last week's episode 244, featuring guitarist Marty Friedman, who was great. I actually, the article got a bunch of press because of his comments about Japan, because that's where he lives. His wife is, I believe, a Japanese violinist, and he lives full-time in Japan when he's not touring, and has completely immersed himself in the Japanese culture, and talked a lot about that in the episode, talked a lot about Kiss and his upbringing and learning how to play the guitar. And so if you haven't listened to it yet, he was in town at City Winery Boston, and but last week we weren't here to do it. So a couple episodes, if you're not caught up yet, episode 243 featuring King Coyote, and episode 244 featuring Marty Friedman. Episode 245, I might have to make him like my unofficial co-host at this point, because this is his 4th appearance on the podcast. But I got an email a couple weeks ago from the record company, and they were like, hey, Chris Daughtry's doing a bunch of interviews. I know you love having him on the show. Do you want to have him on again? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. So Chris Daughtry back on the show talking about the EP Shock to the System Part 1. I tried to get as much information about Shock to the System Part 2 as I could, but he also wanted to talk about all of the plans that Daughtry has to tour this year, not only as part of the Creed Summer of 99 and Beyond tour, but also the other half of the Disturbed Sickness 25th anniversary tour. The half that's coming to New England is going to be Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Sevendust. That's going to be at the TD Garden in March. But the other half of the tour is going to be Disturbed, Daughtry, and Nothing More. And so Daughtry wanted to talk, obviously, about the touring plans and everything they have going on. And also, we talked about his blackout tattoos. So if you see in this picture, that is not paint. He blacked out all of his sleeves. And we talked about the process of that, how long he sat in the chair, how long it took him to recover from all of that. So new episode, Chris Daughtry, episode 245 goes live at midnight. Melissa says, you got a new listener last week, turned a fellow coworker onto your podcast. He listened to a couple and really liked him. He's in the DC area and had no clue who you were. Well, thank you, Melissa. That's why I always ask you guys that if there's an episode you really like, an artist you really like, the research on podcasting is that more likely than not, you find a new podcast because it's recommended to you by someone that is in your social circle, whether it's family members, coworkers, friends, whatever it is. Recommending podcasts means a lot to podcasters because that is the kind of advertising that you just can't buy. So I always encourage you guys that if there is an episode you guys love, share it with the people that you know love that artist. And just be like, hey, you've got friends that you know love Daughtry, share the Daughtry episode with them. That is how we are going to get the word out to people that are not in the listening area of any of the radio shows that I'm on. Sean says, what are your thoughts about Weenie? What are you talking about? Did I miss something about Weenie? Am I stepping on a landmine here? What are you talking about? Bish says, eat something spicy. It'll clear your sinuses. I have zero tolerance for spicy food. Jalapenos are too spicy for me. I don't know what it is. My tongue is broken. I will literally die. Like buffalo chicken dip is about as hot as I can handle. Like I'm such a wimp. When I go out for Thai food or Indian food, I have to ask them to make it not spicy for me because I am a pussy when it comes to eating spicy food. However, I saw this disgusting video on TikTok and I might try it just so that I can tell you guys if it worked or not. They said, if you want to decongest your sinuses, and I'm not telling you to do it because I don't know if it works, but the video that I saw was so gross. The person took 2 cloves of garlic, peeled, and put a clove of garlic up each nostril and just sat there for 5 minutes or whatever. And when they pulled, not all the way up, you just want to kind of tuck them in there. And when they pulled the cloves of garlic out, it was like the Trevi Fountain in Italy of just mucus and stuff. And it was so disgusting. And I was like, whoa, I wonder if that really works. So I have thought about doing that the last couple of days because I am so tired. This is day 4 of me not being able to breathe, that I am getting close to just purposefully sticking garlic cloves up my nose to see if it works. So I am not eating something spicy, Bish. You can't make me do it. I have zero tolerance for it. Bish wants to know if I saw the video of Daughtry singing Rooster while he was working out. Yes, because Daughtry's been on the show so many times, he is in my algorithms on all of my social media pages. So every time he puts up a shirtless workout picture on social media, yes, it automatically. And I hate it. Chris Daughtry, put on a shirt. You and Lenny Kravitz need to wear shirts. Was that convincing? Yeah, I didn't think so. Alicia says, are you getting tickets for Disturbed? The show is completely sold out, so it's not looking good. There's always a chance, but that show is the first show of the entire tour to sell out. Not a surprise at all because Bostonians love Disturbed. They love 3 Days Grace and they freaking love Sevendust. So, but the show's completely sold out, so there are no tickets left. Oh, Sean wants to know how I feel about Kanye West. That's how I feel about Kanye West. You took out a Super Bowl commercial. Everybody's freaking out, by the way. He buys a Super Bowl commercial to tell people to go to his website. And then as soon as the Super Bowl commercial airs, he takes everything off his website except he's selling a $20 swastika t-shirt. Okay? Fuck Nazis. Fuck you. My grandfather fought in the war. You guys lost. Fucking deal with it. If you are a supporter of that ideology, fuck off. I don't want you in my universe. Like, I thought this was all settled, the Nazi bullshit. Like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Kanye? Hitler would have rounded you up too, dude. Gays, gypsies, he would have rounded you up too, you fucking moron. So you want to know how I feel about Kanye? That's how I feel about Kanye. Fuck him. This is what I thought of, though, about the whole Kanye thing. If Kanye were anybody else's husband or ex-husband, the ex-wife would have already hauled his ass to court to take the kids away, like visitation, all of that stuff. Kim Kardashian hasn't done that. He still has access to those kids. Is she afraid to take him to court, to take the kids away from having access to him? He's a Nazi. Any other mom would go to court and be like, my ex-husband's on Twitter saying he loves Adolf Hitler and he calls himself a Nazi. Can I not have him have custody of the kids? Can I take his visitation away because he's literally melting down? But she hasn't done that. Why? Like, just made me think a little bit. But yeah, Kanye, that's how I feel about it. Let's see. Somehow you need to get Taylor Swift on your podcast. Eric, look, I would have Taylor Swift on the podcast in a hot minute for no other reason than my husband loves her. Like, loves her. And I would have her on the show just so that I could tell her how much my husband loves her. But I look at her as an incredibly shrewd businesswoman, an artist, a gifted songwriter. I would have her on the show. She's not going to come on my show, but she could. She's watching this right now. Taylor, come on the show. Hot and sour soup works, says Will. That is about as hot as I can handle, hot and sour soup. Like, it's almost too hot for me, but I'll give it a try. Let's see. Get a neti pot. Oh, God. I just don't want to come in that much contact with all of my mucus. You know what I'm saying? Bish says, my grandfather was given a Purple Heart for killing Nazis. Well, your grandfather was given a Purple Heart because he was injured killing Nazis. That's why he got the Purple Heart. But yeah, absolutely. The Grammy incident too. Yeah, all of that stuff. Just like, yeah, I can't, I just, it pisses me off so bad watching these new Nazis like march through DC or Boston or like whatever. And I understand the First Amendment, freedom of speech. You have the right to be a complete and utter douchebag in this country. It's not illegal, but it really fucking pisses me off. Like, it really fucking pisses me off. This whole like, and you know what's really funny is that the people that are the supremacists, the ones that they think are like above everyone else, are always not. Like, I look at The Rock as being a supreme example of like humanity, right? Like, if there's a body, if someone is superior, right? Like the ideal body, the perfect image of human. Like, it's not Bubba in the wife beater with his gut hanging out, drinking, PBR with his hound on the front porch. You are not my ideal man genetically, according to your ideology. I'm looking at The Rock or Lenny Kravitz or Alexander Skarsgård or Keanu Reeves, or there are 10,000 men that if they had the attitude that they were like, yeah, I am like the perfect specimen of humanity, I'd be like, you make a good point. But it's never the guys that think that they're, the chosen, the pure genes. Yeah, I'm all set. Where are your teeth? Just curious. Let's see. You need to have John Bon Jovi or Rob Thomas on the podcast. Jessica, I would melt down like a nuclear reactor if John Bon Jovi came on the podcast. He is one of the only rock stars that is on my very short list that I have not talked to yet. I've not spoken to a Beatle in my entire career. I've not spoken to a Beatle. I would probably die, especially because of my mom. Just the idea of like being able to talk to a Beatle. And my degree of separation between me and a Beatle is 1. Because you guys remember my buddy McGee, the drum tech that worked for Aerosmith that I had on the podcast? He works for Ringo. It's just getting access to the Beatle that's difficult. I know people that work for the Beatle. I just have not been able to talk to the Beatle. I would die talking to the Beatle. But John Bon Jovi is on that list too. So, Lou says it's also our right to say fuck off to the Nazis. The problem is saying fuck off, like, doesn't do anything. Like, remember the good old days when you could just punch a Nazi? Remember that? Remember those good old, when make America great again? We can punch Nazis again? That would be awesome. I would melt. I literally would melt down if John Bon Jovi or a Beatle came on the podcast. They are fully invited at any time. I will move mountains. But Lou says you are obsessing about Lenny Kravitz tonight. I was talking about him on the air today. Can't help it. Saw a picture of him with his shirt off. It's been in my brain all day. Stevie Nicks on that list, 100%, considering that I wanted to be her growing up. Her and Olivia Newton-John at the end of Grease. Not at the beginning of Grease, at the end of Grease. Olivia Newton-John has left us. So, yeah. I would take Stevie Nicks. Are you kidding me? I love her. Denise says John Bon Jovi helped to open a veterans home in Tewksbury, so he should come and speak about that. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. All right, so that is the new episode of the podcast. Comes out at midnight tonight, episode 245. Chris Daughtry back on the show. A reminder that if you subscribe to the podcast, you get the full episodes every Wednesday, and you get the sit rep, rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. It's about 5 minutes long. You get that Monday through Friday. You can listen to the podcast literally on any of the podcast apps that you might use to find podcasts. You can listen to them on YouTube, and you can also just go straight to mistresscarrie.com, find the episode you want to listen to, and just click play. That's all it is. It's easy. We're still holding strong in 149 countries, just so you guys know. If you're celebrating your birthday today on February 11th, you're sharing it with Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. You are sharing it with Craig Jones, otherwise known as 133, the guy from Slipknot with all the giant nails coming out of his head. Quick Craig 133 story. You guys remember that Tattoo the Earth tour that played at Suffolk Downs, I think in like 2000? Back when tattoos were still illegal in Massachusetts and all the tattoo artists, the best in the world, were just sitting around getting drunk because they couldn't tattoo. We stayed late night at the Tattoo the Earth tour because Slipknot played. And me and Craig got drunk drinking vodka in Pedialyte, orange Pedialyte, which is not the preferred flavor of Pedialyte, by the way. Dimebag Darrell taught me to drink the grape one. He did not tell me to put vodka in the Pedialyte. And they only had orange. So me and Craig, with no nail mask, were backstage at the Tattoo the Earth tour, I believe in 2000, getting drunk, drinking vodka and orange Pedialyte. It was a day. And also Sheryl Crow, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Sheryl Crow, celebrating her birthday. So if today's your birthday, happy unbirthday, Keith. Let's see. Let me run down some of the shows that got announced because a bunch of tours got announced just over the last few days. Obviously, this is the biggest story in music from last week. the Back to the Beginning final show, the original lineup of Black Sabbath, Ozzy, plus Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Gojira, Hailstorm, Alice in Chains, Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Mastodon. And then this small print here is like, oh, and by the way, Billy Corgan and Jonathan Davis and Duff McKagan and David Draymond and Sammy Hagar and Tom Morello and a whole other list of legendary rock stars are all going to be there as well. The tickets for this go on sale this Friday. All of the proceeds are going to charity. They have not announced the streaming partner yet, which I'm waiting for that announcement to find out when the rest of us that can't fly to Birmingham, England on July 5th are going to be able to watch the show, because I need to see this show. All right, speaking of the Garden, we were talking about the Disturbed tour. Obviously, a lot of rock shows are headed to the Garden. One thing on that Black Sabbath tour, they kind of subtly made an announcement about Ghost, because in that list of notable people that are going to be making appearances, it said Papa the Fifth Perpetua, which is the first reference to the new singer of Ghost. So a new character by Tobias Forge, Papa the Fifth Perpetua, is going to be at the Black Sabbath show and will probably be at the TD Garden on July 21st. Linkin Park, Happy Birthday, Mr. Shinoda, Shinedown, Nine Inch Nails, all of these shows are on sale at the Garden. They need to stream that show, says Keith. I 100% agree with you. I would expect to pay for it because they're donating all of the proceeds. Sharon Osbourne was actually asked, how did you get the guys from Black Sabbath back together? She said, when we agreed to not make any money off of it and to do it for charity, everybody said yes. So that's how they did it. So they are most definitely going to charge for the stream because they want to raise money for the charity. DCU Center has got the Silver Scream Con 4 headed to the DCU in Worcester, September 12th through the 14th. Those tickets, by the way, are on sale now. They haven't announced all of the guests, the bands that are going to be playing, but the tickets are on sale already. Let's see. Some good news about Des Fafara, that Devil Driver has been added to the Louder Than Life Festival this summer. Now, Cold Chamber has been off the road because Des has been recovering from long COVID, had a lot of problems with his heart because of COVID, which he talked about on the podcast. And a lot of people were worried that he wasn't going to be able to tour. Devil Driver has confirmed tour dates for the summer. This Cold Chamber tour is going to get rescheduled for the fall. So if you have those tickets for Big Night Live, it's already been postponed a couple times. It's going to get announced and get rescheduled. The Doobie Brothers announced a tour this week. Tickets go on sale Friday for the Xfinity Center, August 15th. Of course, Billy Idol and Joan Jett, Papa Roach and Rise Against, Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick. All of those shows are already on sale, but the Doobies goes on sale this Friday. Billy Gibbons is going to be in Beverly at the Cabot Theater this Thursday. Dream Theater's new album, Parasomnia, came out last Friday, celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. They'll be at the Wang. Heart's going to be at the Aganis and at Foxwoods. Of course, AC/DC at Gillette with the Pretty Reckless in May. Alice Cooper just announced this tour is going to be the only New England date at the Mohegan Sun Arena on May 23rd. This show goes on sale this Friday as well. Post Malone and Jelly Roll at Gillette. This just got announced, goes on sale this Friday. Sleep Theory at the Sinclair in Cambridge. That is in Harvard Square if you've never been there before. So if you're a fan of Sleep Theory, that show goes on sale this Friday. Weird Al, of course, Incubus, Def Leppard, Coldplay at Gillette. Tons of shows are getting announced for this summer. Even this spring, shows are going on sale like that. Leader Bank Pavilion, more shows are going to get announced, but the Goo Goo Dolls have already announced their tours rolling in there in July. My Chemical Romance sold out Fenway Park, one show in September. The Palladium has got The Plot in You coming next month, and Memphis Mayfire coming in May. Roadrunner has got Jack White in town next week. He has got two shows, solo shows for his solo album, No Name. So those tickets, if you can get them, are on sale right now. MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Alabama Shakes just announced that they are going to be there September 14th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday. But everybody from Joe Bonamassa and the Dropkicks to Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, Spirit Box, who are not poppy, are going to be at the MGM Music Hall of Fenway in April. Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine, Queens of the Stone Age, their rescheduled dates from last year are going to be this June. The Pixies, and like I said, Alabama Shakes. Let's see. Mark says, anything Deftones happening. They're playing the TD Garden. Did you not see that? Also, Adrenaline turns 30 this year. What? Yeah, just insane. So I would expect some kind of reissue from the Deftones. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with the Deftones Mark this year. So let's see. Any news on Tommy Vext? He was doing a solo tour. He was just off the rails in Worcester. So he's definitely out doing stuff. Poppy just released a new single too, and it is fire. She has got 2 shows at the House of Blues. Speaking of Poppy, and she released a line of merch after Courtney LaPlante from Spirit Box got mistaken for her at the Grammys. Hilarious. The Dropkicks at the House of Blues, The Used, Machine Head, Marilyn Manson, all of those shows are already on sale. Sean says, excited about the Dropkick Murphys. Yeah, like I look at St. Patrick's Day as like the first hint that winter's over. Like it's very rare. It happens, but it's very rare that after St. Patrick's Day, it snows. So it's like, oh, okay, winter's finally over. So that's how I look at St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, I'm waiting. We're a month away. Quicksand, the Linda Lindas, and the Melvins and Napalm Death are all playing the Paradise Rock Club. Again, all of these shows are listed on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. A reminder about City Winery Boston, the Stone Temple Posers, March 22nd, the upcoming Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch. Nothing announced for the aforementioned Suffolk Downs yet in the newly renovated stage there. But hopefully they're going to have some shows there this summer. Don't forget, Record Store Day is coming up on April 12th. The Wu-Tang Clan just announced they're releasing a new album. 5,000 copies, brand new Wu-Tang album, their first one since 2017. But the list of releases, vinyl releases from major bands, everybody from Yes and Queen to John Lennon, Motley Crue. It's ridiculous how much stuff is coming out this Record Store Day. You can go to recordstoreday.com to get the complete list of releases and also to find a participating record store. Mail call. Yeah. All of a sudden the dogs just woke up, didn't they? See Friday back there? Yeah. All of a sudden you're awake because something might have come in the mail for you. And when the card has a cute dog on it, you're probably right, you spoiled dog. Hey, Carrie, just a little note with treats. I hope you like these. If Mommy is good, you said these are her favorites. Some of the treats are for Wednesday and Friday. If they're good, and a card for Mr. C, congratulations again. Thank you, Denise. I really appreciate it. It has been, oh, wait, here's the card for Mr. C. He'll be up here soon. I will let him open that. Oh, these are my favorite. These are my absolute favorite candy bar. I love them. They're not easy to find all the time, but they are, oh, yes. But they are, it's not Valentine's Day yet. Valentine's Day is Friday. I am spending Valentine's Day without my Valentine, so I am going to eat one of these because I can. But they are 100% my favorite. I love them. I absolutely love 100 Grand bars. And yes, the dogs get treats too. Hold on. Let me turn the pug cam on now that both of them are awake. Are you guys awake now? Huh? Are you awake now that Denise sent you treats? Would you like a little early Valentine's Day treat? Can you sit down, please? Friday, can you sit? Sit. No, Wednesday, over here. Can you sit? Can I have your paw? Wednesday, paw. Thank you. Friday, sit. Sit. Stop being like that. Paw. Can I have your other? No, I want the other paw. Other paw. No. I want this paw. No. This paw. Can I have this paw? Sit. Paw. Nope, the other paw. You have to learn the other paw. Your sister knows other paw. There you go. Wednesday. Can I have a high five? Thank you. There you go. Yep, those are your treats. That's all you get. Back up so you can show everybody how cute you are. You got your treat. Now I can eat my treat. Thank you, Denise. They are my favorite. Louise says, I love 100 grain candy. Yeah, they're delicious. How can you not love them? They are the best. So good. Bish says they're fun size. That's what Keith calls his privates. 100 gram. So good. Melissa says, peace, love, and rock and roll. Catch you on the flip side. Good night, darling. Thank you for passing on the podcast to people in D.C. I appreciate it. All right. Where were we? Mistress Carrie backstage pass holders. You have access to Spirit Box tickets to see him at the MGM Music Hall of Fenway on April 19th. We do the monthly live stream, so I'll have more. You guys know the big announcement that's coming up this week. You've known for a while. You always get the inside info. You find out who's going to be on the podcast, so you can submit questions, travel blog updates. You get early access to event information when we launch new merch, which I know we haven't done in a while. I'm a little bit behind because of everything that happened at the end of last year. You get merch discount codes when we launch new merch and stuff. Donna says, oh my God, I love whatchamacallits. I loved them too. It's got to be the crispy rice thing. So good. So if you have a backstage pass, don't forget you have access to free tickets. Go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or just go to mistresscarrie.com and click the backstage pass button to get yourself a backstage pass. A reminder of all of the places you can find me on social, all the radio stations. This is getting redone this week. And all of the places that you can track me down online. All of these links are up at mistresscarrie.com. And a reminder about the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. So if you are looking to support veterans, if you are a veteran that's looking for resources, if you are a veteran-owned business looking to get the word out, if you are a company looking to hire veterans, this is a great place. If you just have a veteran in the family, if you're looking for information, or if you are just someone that wants to support veterans, go to events that support veterans. You can find all of that and more in the Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. There are thousands of people there now. It is so awesome that you guys have really galvanized this group together to get the word out about veterans causes and organizations and events, and it's amazing. So thank you guys for being such passionate supporters of our veterans and for posting all of the links that you do and sharing the information, answering questions, putting up with the spammers every now and again. But I'm really so happy that this group is there and that is helping to get the word out about stuff. So it makes me super happy. So, all right, one more time, ladies. Do you want to say goodbye and thank you to Denise for your yummy cookies? Do you want to say thank you? You guys ready? Oh, I'm going to have a sneezing fit in a minute. I can feel it coming. Cucumber, cucumber, cucumber. That's supposed to make you not sneeze. Did you know that? My grandfather taught me that. That if you feel a sneeze coming on, you say cucumber, 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 and something about it's supposed to keep you from sneezing. I don't know if it really works or not, but I'm not sneezing right now, so obviously my papa was right. You learn something new every day. You guys want to say goodnight? New episode of the podcast goes live at midnight tonight, episode 245. Featuring Chris Daughtry goes live tonight, and we'll be back next Tuesday. You guys good? Big announcement coming by the end of this week. Keep your eyes on my socials. Keep your eyes on mistresscarrie.com, but a big announcement coming by the end of the week. I am super, super excited about it. So, all right, good night, guys. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Say good night, Friday.